Gurun Vaishnavanscha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome. My name is Tika, and I wanted to read Bhagavad-gita together with you, because I'm thinking in this life we can do many things with our life, but if we can sit down together and read and discuss the Bhagavad-gita, then we are not wrong. Yes, I'm reading the Bhagavad-gita as it is, translated and commented by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and I'm starting with the introduction because that is a very good start, and I'm continuing. The complete whole personality of Godhead has immense potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad-gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. This manifestation has its own time, fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole, and when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is complete facilities for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So Bhagavad-gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. Yes. So here Prabhupada is bringing into this introduction knowledge from the whole Vedic sphere, which is a vast body of knowledge. And I think he's referring here to Ishopanishad, Sri Ishopanishad, which is one of the Upanishads, unknown author, beautiful prayers, spiritual understanding, starting with the invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And since He's fully complete, everything that comes from Him is complete in and of itself. So that is what we see with this universe. We have everything on this planet. Everything is there, whatever we need for everyone who is here. The only problem occurs when we go outside of our quota. And we can see this in the present day. We can see that some parts of the world, maybe of the northern and western variety, are utilizing more of the resources than the rest of the world, and then problems appear. Difficulties arise, and they are difficult to solve. But if we kept to our quota, if we didn't enter into unnecessary, I want to maybe back out of this and go back a little bit. So in this world there is enough for everyone according to our quota, but if we overstep our quota and encroach on another's quota, then we see the things that we see to this day. We see starvations, we see lack, we see problems, because some of us, mainly here in the northern and western part, are using more of the resources than those in the other parts. Then we have problems. The problem is not with the resources, but with the distribution, and with that idea that says, let me increase my enjoyment by depriving someone else of what rightfully should be theirs. Yes, I will continue. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal, and according to Smriti, or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. One might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it is Vedic injunction, and indeed by accepting this one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proved by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubt and mistakes, and Bhagavad-gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to accept perfect knowledge, which comes down, as stated in Bhagavad-gita, by the parampara, disciplic succession. Yes, this is good advice when it comes to accepting the Vedas. Of course, we can do as we like. We can study the Bhagavad-gita, we can test it, we can research it up to a point. We can research the effects and how it is useful for us. But if we come from the, from the Vedic viewpoint, Krishna is Supreme Personality, He's giving us this knowledge, we can actually save time by accepting it as it is. And it is interesting, we hear that our research is imperfect due to our imperfect senses. For instance, if we want to see something that's far away, we can use a telescope. If we want to use something that's very small, we can use a microscope. And we will see better. But the imperfections we bring with us, they will simply be made bigger or smaller. For instance, if you are colorblind, you will not be able to tell the difference between red and green. And it doesn't matter if you add glasses or a telescope or something like that. This is not due to the instrument. This is due to the limitation of our senses. And in a similar way, when it comes to spiritual knowledge, our senses are by necessity limited. And we can get so far by using our senses, we can get a little bit further by using our intelligence and logic. We can come to the point here, we are speaking of the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya is a Sanskrit word that means counting. So in the Sankhya philosophy, we are counting the elements of the material world, and we are going through them one by one and saying, this is not it, this is not eternal, this is not my nature. My body may consist of earth and water and fire. And I am different from that. This world, everything we see is part of these elements, and by our intelligence we can actually come to the conclusion that as a living entity I am beyond these objects, these senses, these elements. But we cannot come to the positive understanding that's on the other side. This material world, we can see it up to a point, we can understand that the spiritual world is something different. But with our own logic, we will only create the negation of the material world. We will not actually research what the spiritual world is. But therefore we want to take the knowledge given by Krishna, starting with the Bhagavad-gita. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession, beginning with the Supreme Spiritual Master, the Lord Himself, and handed down in succession to spiritual masters. Arjuna, the student who took lessons from Lord Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him. One is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad-gita and not another. No, we must accept Bhagavad-gita without interpretation, without deletion, and without our own whimsical participation. Without our own whimsical participation in the matter. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources, and the first words were spoken by Lord Krishna Himself. The words spoken by the Lord are called aparusheya, meaning that they are different from words spoken by a person of the mundane world, who is infected with 4 defects. A mundaner, 1, is sure to commit mistakes, 2, is invariably illusioned, 3, has the tendency to cheat others, and 4, is limited by imperfect senses. With these 4 imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all-pervading knowledge. Yes. So these things are very basic, but they are often overlooked. If we are conditioned, if we are limited, our ability to find the knowledge and our ability to give the knowledge is limited. Here it says, one is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad-gita and not another. Of course, we can do whatever we like. We can read the Bhagavad-gita and we can like some parts of it because they are poetic, and some parts because they support our own ideas from the beginning. So, of course, Krishna is not going to come to us and take the Bhagavad-gita away if we read it in that way. But we may not gain the supreme or the ultimate utilization of Bhagavad-gita. We may not reach the full realization, the full complete conclusion. So therefore this advice is given here so that we may enter the Bhagavad-gita and understand it as fully as possible. So the mundaners, we are the mundaners. We are conditioned by these mundane words. So we can see some things, we can understand some things, but Bhagavad-gita, we are not using these terms to make fun of those of us who are here in this world, but we are making a distinction. A person who is freed from this illusion of this world has a different perspective, has a different ability to understand the knowledge and to give the knowledge. Yes, we will read this later also. One definition of knowledge is also humility. If we want to receive more knowledge, we kind of have to start from the point where we accept that we have a little less knowledge. So that is all right. Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his becoming subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe, and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Prapitamaha, because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather, Krishna is. So no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things which are set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. Yes, this is also Ishopanishad. This is the recipe for peace and harmony in this world. There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is also explained in the Bhagavad-gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsmen. This decision was based on the body because he was thinking that the body was himself and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brothers-in-law, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad-gita was spoken by the Lord just to change this view, and at the end Arjuna decided to fight under the directions of the Lord when he says, Karishye vachanang tava, I shall act according to your word. Yes, it's a big moment. Arjuna, he's one of the princes. They are supposed to rule the kingdom that consists of the whole world. Somehow or another, this has brought them to the point of this huge battle where everyone of the warrior class are assembled on this battlefield, and they will come into the fight. And there are many principles in civilized human life. There are many, duties to fulfill in this world, whether they are on the small, personal plane. If I have children, it is my duty to feed them, actually by law. And if I'm the government, it is my duty to protect the country and the citizens. But everybody, all these duties are there because this universe, this planet, this world are part of Krishna's area, part of Krishna's world. And ultimately, he has this responsibility, which he lovingly fulfills, of giving us what we need, of creating a situation. But some of us have other duties, like under him. If you have a government, maybe you have a prime minister or a king or president, something like that, who may be the main persons, but he's not going to do everything. He's delegating. And each person in turn, they have their area of responsibility, and they gain some prestige, they gain some benefits from that, but they also have a burden of responsibility. Ultimately, this goes back to Krishna. In front of Krishna, we are all responsible for our particular duties. But the main duty in this world is to ask those questions that makes us human. Who am I? What is the meaning of my life? And the answers come in connection to Krishna, our relationship to Krishna. So this isn't just a battlefield, although it is a magnificent battlefield. If that's your thing, then that's the best battlefield to study, the Kurukshetra battle. But the inner battle of finding our position in relationship to Krishna, this permeates the entire situation of life in the universe, and it permeates the entirety of the body of the Vedic knowledge. And the Bhagavad-gita is a beautiful beginning to understand this knowledge. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam